Vance of Ohio is recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate everybody being here, and I appreciate the chairman for holding this important hearing. And I want to start maybe by just pointing out the obvious that one of the important things the Federal Reserve does, of course, is hopefully help us prevent the next global financial crisis. And I want to focus in particular on Ms. Cook, on some of your views here, because I think you've written some things I agree with, and you've written some things that I disagree with too. And so just to start with and to give you some chance to explain your particular perspective here, I understand this is a very complicated question, but at a high level, what do you think caused the 2008 global financial crisis?
Patriots, before we get into this, make sure you smash that like button, hit subscribe, and share this video with every freedom-loving American you know. The mainstream media won't give you the truth, but we will right here. Today, we're reacting to a Senate exchange between Senator J.D. Vance of Ohio and Federal Reserve Governor Lisa Cook. And let me tell you, this one is important, because it's about who we can trust to safeguard America's economy and whether we're focused on the right priorities.
Causes, but certainly extending credit in a way that was not sensible, both receiving credit and extending credit, especially in the subprime sector, helped to cause the global financial crisis.
Well, I appreciate that, Ms. Cook, and I agree with you. And, of course, one thing that I'd add here is that we took, as you said, some primary credit problems and really exploded them by introducing a whole host of highly complex financial instruments. Seems like nobody understood them especially well. That obviously provided a lot of leverage in the economy. And so when $10 disappeared, all of a sudden $1 million disappeared, $10 million disappeared, and on the dominoes went. I want to ask Ms. Cook, if you had to rank it, where would you say a lack of racial and gender diversity ranks on that list? Would you say it's a top 5 factor, a top 10 factor in what caused the global financial crisis? Lack of gender and racial diversity, of course, at the big banks.
Senator, as a Federal Reserve governor, I think about the dual mandate first, and I think about the two legs of that dual mandate, and those are maximum employment and stable prices. And as a governor, I have been engaged with my colleagues on the Federal Open Market Committee in fighting inflation aggressively. And I have been focused on the dual mandate, and that's how, if reconfirmed, I would plan to proceed.
First off, hats off to Senator Vance. He asked the tough questions that so many others are too scared to ask. He zeroed in on the real causes of the 2008 global financial crisis: reckless lending, subprime mortgages, complex financial instruments, and Wall Street leverage stacked so high that when one brick fell, the whole tower came crashing down. That's the truth. That's the reality. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of staying locked on those causes, Senator Vance pointed out something we've been hearing from elites for years. This narrative that lack of diversity is somehow to blame for economic collapse. Patriots, I've got to say it, that's nonsense. The crisis wasn't caused because there weren't enough diversity quotas on Wall Street. It was caused by greed, bad policy, and a lack of oversight. Period. Now, Lisa Cook tried to pivot back to the Fed's dual mandate, stable prices, and maximum employment. That's fine, that's the law. But let's not forget, she's on record in 2019 saying that a lack of women and diversity was at the root of the financial crisis and could lead to the next one. Really? At the root? Patriots. That's exactly what's wrong with our institutions. They get distracted with social engineering, with virtue signaling, with checking boxes on race and gender, while the real wolves on Wall Street run wild and wreck our economy. Think about it. While ordinary Americans lost their jobs, their homes, their retirement savings, the banks were cooking up schemes with mortgage-backed securities and derivatives so complicated that nobody, not even the so-called experts, understood them. And now we're told the problem wasn't bad policy. It was a lack of diversity? Give me a break. That's how the left distracts us. That's how they avoid accountability. Senator Vance nailed it when he said, the Fed has to focus on its core mission: supervision, stability, inflation, employment. Because if they waste time chasing woke agendas, the next crisis won't come from lack of diversity. It'll come from lack of discipline. And you know what? He's right. Look around right now. Inflation is hammering families. Small businesses can barely get loans, and Washington is asleep at the wheel. The last thing we need is the Fed treating itself like a social justice seminar. This is why elections matter. This is why who we confirm to these institutions matters. We need leaders who will protect American workers, American savings, and American jobs, not leaders who push progressive talking points from the ivory tower. Patriots, diversity isn't a bad thing when it happens naturally, but forced diversity quotas have no business in central banking. You know what America needs? Strong policies, sound money, and real oversight of Wall Street corruption. That's what keeps our country safe. That's what prevents financial collapse. So here's the bottom line. Senator Vance asked the tough questions. Lisa Cook dodged, and the American people deserve better than dodges. We don't need the Fed chasing identity politics. We need the Fed fighting inflation, keeping the dollar strong, and making sure reckless bankers don't tank our economy again. Patriots, if you're tired of watching the elites distract us with woke nonsense while our families pay the price, hit that subscribe button right now. Share this video with your friends, your family, your co-workers. Let's spread the truth and demand accountability. Because only when we stay focused on America's real priorities, freedom, stability, and prosperity, can we make sure our country remains strong for generations to come. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America.